ACCA SBR Strategic Business Reporting, one of the most difficult and technical exams within ACCA syllabus. Your exam consists of two sections A and B, and each section has two questions of 25 marks each. So it means that you will get 4 questions. Generally, first question is about consolidation, second is about ethics or current issues, and in section A, and then in section B, question 3 and question 4 are about individual independent IFRS standards. If we speak about consolidation, don't expect to get a consolidation question to prepare a consolidated financial statement, financial position or comprehensive income. No, it is not going to be like that. It is going to be a group accounting question in which there are some events, some transactions, and they would ask you that how they should be reported in the group or how they should impact on the group financial statements. It could be a lease transaction between the parent and the subsidiary. It could be about sale of some assets, sale of inventories, or it could be a deferred tax issue between the group, within the group. So you need to understand, you need to reflect the principle, the IFRS standard, and then you reflect the changes on your group based on your knowledge of the standard. Then it comes, the second question is about, generally you need to, because ethics is very important. So you remember those 5 principles of ethics which we remember as OPEC, objectivity was there, professional behavior, professional competence is there, integrity was there, confidentiality was there. And the examiner does not expect you to write down a brief on these 5 dimensions of ethics. They expect you to apply your knowledge in a certain situation. So they give you a scenario where something wrong is happening, probably some manipulation of profit, underestimation, overestimation, or maybe some other issue which is related to ethics. And you would see that out of those 5 dimensions or out of those 5 principles of ethics, which one is compromised. And then you explain that, and you also take your own stance, you make your recommendation. Current issues, of course, it is there, although they don't make it, they don't give it a lot of weight, but of course it is part of, as ACCA has mentioned, that it is part of the syllabus. One thing you should remember, that previously it was P2 exam, okay? So when it was P2, there was quite a lot of weight on calculation and numbers. You had to make, in P2 you had to make a consolidated balance sheet with 12 adjustments or 13 adjustments, or a consolidated statement of profit and loss or comprehensive income with 10, 12 adjustments. It is not the case here, because as the time is changing, the market trend is changing. Today we expect that managers are not really responsible for preparing these numbers, because numbers are given by our ERPs, our computer softwares, accounting softwares are becoming so good that we really don't want to give $5,000 to a manager to tell us how much profit we made, okay? Because financials are produced by my system today. I need someone to guide me, to advise me on the interpretation of these numbers, interpretation and analysis of these numbers, impact of my financial reporting standards, impact of my policies, accounting policies, how accounting policies and how certain situations will impact my financial reporting. So it's more of application thing. Number crunching is gone. So in SBR, I would say that maybe 35 to 40% weight is on number crunching, and remaining 60-65% goes to evaluation, assessment, analysis, interpretation, and recommendation. So, and that requires practical application of knowledge in practical scenarios. And one thing you more remember, that none of the question they won't test you standards in isolation. Don't expect that you will get a 15-mark question or a 12-mark question which involves application of only one standard. There are questions which involve 2 standards or 3 standards. The other day we was doing one past exam question which involved, the question starts with IFRS 9. So it has IFRS 9, it has IAS 16, it has IAS 2 inventories, and it has IAS 37 provisions. So your knowledge of 4 standards is tested in a question of 8 marks. So that's a short scenario, maybe 8 or 10 lines, and it has 8 marks being given, and there are 4 accounting standards tested in one situation. So that's why we say that you need to have, your breadth of the knowledge is very important. your breadth of the knowledge is very important. And in the same question, the depth of the knowledge was also very important, because that was about IFRS 9 financial instruments and executory contracts we were discussing, own assets. So if you don't know what is an executory contract or what is own assets, so you say, I know IFRS 9, but I don't know what is own use, or what is an executory contract. So here the depth is checked. So within 8 marks, a lot of breadth and a lot of depth. So you really need to work around, make sure that you don't miss any standards. You need to do all of the standards, and practice would make you, would help you a lot in passing exam. So do make a sufficient effort on practicing past exam questions or questions from your practice kit, because the more questions you do, the more scenarios you will interact, and you will face different situations, and that would help you to develop your understanding that how IFRS knowledge is applied in different scenarios. Coming back to our course on Vertex, I have explained all of the standards in great detail, and then we have done quite a lot of questions. If you see the course page, there is a series of questions which I have done from past exam and from your practice kit. And while doing those questions, I have given you the explanation, how the standard applies in certain situation, as well as examples, as well as exceptions, that if we change the situation, if something had changed or something had occurred differently, how would I have responded in that scenario. So reading book is important. So read the book, watch the videos for question solutions, and practice yourself. The focus areas which you should put on, the major focus areas should be your IFRS, if we speak about, although all of them are important, but still IFRS 9 important, leases is very important, deferred tax is very important, provision is very important, share-based payment, IFRS 2 is very important, of course PPE, nothing to speak about, PPE and IS 36 impairment, these are the things which you have done before as well. And in the end, I would say that read the book thoroughly. And please, we should understand that financial reporting is one subject which accountants, they are expected to be really good at. Within your ACCA syllabus, many of you have studied performance management, financial management, taxation and audit, and many other things. I know that not everybody is going to apply all of these things on everyday basis, but financial reporting is one thing which you are expected to use which you are expected to use on daily basis. And it is not only about passing the exam, it is about getting that professional knowledge based on which you will develop your career. So no compromise on SBR preparation.